We have people from all over the country. We have people from, I think, 20 different nations coming this weekend. It's finally here. This is the last of the trilogy: honor, courage, and love. This is the week that America begins the healing process. This is the week that we stop progressing away from our founding ideals. This is the week that we reclaim our God-given right to help and love our fellow man. This is a week that will go down in history. Mark it. It will. This is the third and final of the restoring events that we have done. And I am so unbelievably optimistic. There has been a change in me recently. I don't know what it is exactly. In the days leading up to the first two events, and this event as well, I have been stressed, I've been worried. I mean, we had a lot of security issues in the last two events that we don't have this time because we're in Texas, but that's a different story. And I have been so afraid after each event. My gosh, I've aged. We have after each event, I have questioned, did I do enough? Did I say the right thing? Was I wrong on anything? And we have tried to serve honorably in the last 3 years. There is still a lot to do, but this time I feel much, much different. Last night, my family and I were at Our Faith's temple, and we were praying, as we do before each of the restoring events. And the anxieties, the stress, the worries, the concerns for the country were there, but it has changed. Last night in prayer with my wife by my side, I had a peace wash over me, a calm. And I was overwhelmed that it is done. It is finished. America is awake. Not everybody. There's still more to wake up, but we are on the right path. You've listened. I've listened. And we are, I have a chalkboard up in my office, and I asked everybody on the staff to write their feelings this week about the restoring events. Most of them have been to all three. And Pat wrote the best one. All that's left is now we win. And it's true. We just have to finish the game and see it out to the very end, leaving no stone unturned. I feel the same way about the election. I feel the American people know what they're dealing with now. When was the last time you saw this president have to explain himself over and over and over again? He usually gets a pass, but not this time. He's not getting a pass with the "you didn't build that, somebody else did" comment. That's the most ridiculous anti-American thing I've ever heard. He's still trying to explain it away, and the more he tries to backpedal, the deeper that he digs the hole, because he's not telling what he really is and what he really believes, and America can see through him. It's just about over for him. You just have to finish the game, and I know you will. But there are two things that I fear. One, that the election will be stolen, and we're going to address that tonight. And two, once President Romney takes office, is he establishment Republican? And if he's not, will the establishment Republican, the progressive Republicans, swoop in and swarm him? They'll make sure they'll try to kill off any shred of loyalties he's ever had to any ideas of small government. They will try. Look what they're doing now to Michelle Bachmann. She's merely asking, and this is amazing to me, how a radical terrorist organization like the Muslim Brotherhood can have so much influence in the White House and in Congress. She wants to put a stop to it. She wants background checks, and she's being attacked by Republicans like John McCain and John Boehner. It will happen to Mitt Romney as well, and that's why it's critical that you don't shut yourself off once the win happens in November, because it is even more important to make sure that he doesn't get eaten alive by the establishment. We also have to make sure he's not the establishment. We have to hold our commitment to individual liberty higher than the commitment to individuals. No political parties or politicians. The ideas. If we want to survive, we have to once again put the ideas, the big ideas, the principles, ahead of personality. It's really what we need our president to be saying, and that is the theme of tonight's Oval Office address. Across the globe, people marvel at America. They see our elections and the public debate that we have over who gets to sit at this desk, and they marvel. How is it possible, they have said for 2 centuries, how is it possible to criticize someone with so much power in public and not go to jail, not suffer? They look at America and they see our political arguments, our freedom of speech, our many civic organizations, our volunteer culture, our sense of anything is possible. And they say, I want to be like that. So they do the easy things. They dress like Americans. They listen to American music. They adopt American technology. And they think, this is as close as I can get to American freedom. In Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East, when they want political revolution, political freedom, they take the things from our culture. They try to launch a revolution of their own. They imitate what they see, the latest in our culture, the same hair, the same fashion, but it's the technology that they're going to now. They're quick to use Facebook or Twitter to organize, to rebel. That's fine. But does it work? We have seen that the rebellious and so-called Arab Spring, which began in technology, Facebook and Twitter, ended in chaos and repression, and it will end in blood. In Egypt, we were told the kids in the street could tweet themselves to a liberal democracy. We told you on this program that is absolutely untrue. They could use Facebook and beat back the generals and the mullahs. Not true. You may remember the photos of the university kids with their Western clothes and their fancy computers pushing a revolution through the digital universe. But in Cairo's Tahrir Square, they were getting crushed by camels and wooden clubs, and now the kids are in fear for their lives. The generals they fought for can't protect them now from the mullahs. The Western garb now is going away, and here comes the hijab and the burqa. In the end, those who ended out on top, who hold power, will run Egypt now. And they don't use Twitter. They don't friend people on Facebook. No, they don't rely on new technology. They rely on the old technology because it's far more effective. It's far more durable. This kind of technology. Fear is their technology. Fear, intimidation, and threats. If necessary, much worse, beatings will start. Why not use a club on the people? The mullahs of the Muslim Brotherhood, they also have something else besides these weapons. They have a sense of history. They can draw on something deep. They knew that what runs in the veins of every Egyptian, a longing, not for the West, not for technology, but for freedom, and more importantly, for pride. You see, Egypt is a nation that has lost every war in the last century, a nation with an economy that has drifted to dependency. So the Muslim Brotherhood had a simple message: follow us, and you'll feel pride again. It happens this way with dictatorships every time. That's why America must guard itself. We've been kicked down into the street. Don't you just mindlessly follow somebody who gives you a good sense of America, and that includes me. The mullahs would say, follow us. You'll feel pride. And if you don't follow us, that's all right. There is another way. You see, the Muslim Brotherhood understands something that all the techno-savvy kids don't. If you want to win people over, you meet them where they live, where they work, where they pray. You want to start a revolution, you can start it on Twitter, but you don't win a revolution in 140 characters. You either do it with billy clubs or you do it with big ideas. We sometimes forget this. We forget this in the age of digital media, that in the end, it is either force or ideas that win the day. And force isn't necessarily clever. It's not funny. And it's not accompanied with a video of a cat barking on YouTube. The ideas of the day are those that are delivered steadily, one by one, until everyone hears it. You don't do it with sizzle, You do that to stake. The fanciest technology won't save you if you don't have some big idea behind it, if you don't have history to back it up. Now, why is this on my mind? Because today begins our Restoring Love events. Tomorrow, the world changes again. There are 20 countries that are coming, and people from all 50 states to meet tomorrow night in American Airlines Arena. And some of these people are coming from countries, and some of them are the same people that approached me in the last 2 years in Italy and Austria. They've asked me in New York. They've flown over to meet me. People have met with me from the EU, in Israel. Glenn, how do we build a tea party? Can you help us? They want their own tea party. But here's the thing. They can't have a tea party movement. They can understand intellectually why we chose the term tea party, but they don't understand it here like we do. You know, we don't get together and drink tea. They don't understand what the first tea party was, and even if they do intellectually, it's empty here. The people over in Europe have no appreciation for what the term really means. When Americans say, let's have a tea party, we're not talking about fancy saucers. We're talking about a revolution against tyranny, but one that didn't start here, wasn't here. It is actually won by farmers with pitchforks, really, against the highest technology of the age, because we had the big idea. And if you don't know American history, you don't know that. And so I urge our friends, the friends at FreePack, the global freedom movement, find your own traditions. And if your country doesn't have one, if your country doesn't have a tradition of freedom, then be the pioneer. Blaze the course. It may not seem to be as dramatic as our Tea Party, but I got to tell you, as our founders were dressing up as Indians, I doubt it seemed that dramatic to them. In every man and every woman, no matter where they are, there beats a desire for freedom. Every man and woman has it inside of them in every nation. There's a natural hatred of tyranny, a natural dislike for concentrated power. All men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The goal of FreePack is to bring that out. But there are no shortcuts. There are no easy paths. You don't put that here on a Facebook page and expect it to blossom. You can't tweet yourself to freedom. You have to do the hard work. And here's what the real hard work looks like. First, you call a meeting at a local restaurant, and you invite your friends, and you see who comes. And if you only have 3 or 4 people there, yes, you try to get a 4th or a 5th. If you have 20, you try to get 25. You have 50, you go for 60. Get ready to argue with each other first about your goals. Get ready to use more than 140 characters, because if you want real freedom, you have to be a little more clever than 140 characters. And a smiley face. You have to be more than tax savvy. You have to be smart, energetic. You have to know history of the world and your own country. If you're planning on doing this in Europe or Africa or Asia, you can't call it the Tea Party. You have to find your own historic touchstone. You have to be authentic, and it has to come from the people. It has to be rich. And I'm not talking about money. This Saturday night, we will meet, you and I, for a rally to restore love. And if you're not from America, steeped in American history, the phrase restore love, you probably wonder, what are you talking about? Are you giving away hugs and kisses? How is that going to change the world? Read Gandhi. You may not know what the word really means in America, love. It's deeper. It can't be summarized in 140 characters here in America. Love's about charity. Love is about personal, individualized service. Love is about the work of our hearts. In America, our goal is to restore love, to reclaim it. Because all too often, those in power tell us not to love, not to do the work of the hearts. Just pay your tax. Let them worry about helping your fellow man. Let them worry about your neighbor. That's not the way it's ever been done in America. And we're starting to do it that way, and it's got to stop. So this weekend, we're going to remind ourselves, 35,000 volunteers. It's never been done before. 35,000 volunteers are coming to this city and to do the work ourselves. It is an urgent issue for all of us in America, vital, because if we can't do the work of our hearts, we are not truly free, nor will we ever be. I'm not saying that in other nations our brothers in freedom movement need to do the same thing. I'm not sure. It's up to you. It's up to you in each country to find out what it is. But if you don't base it in love, you will fail, and it will end, most likely, with this. A global movement of freedom. Freedom doesn't begin and end with tweets and this. But it doesn't come in one flavor. It doesn't depend on one model of success. So to my friends in other nations who are looking to build their own Tea Party movement, a simple message: don't be distracted by technology. Don't be distracted by the accessories of freedom. Don't be distracted by the American model. It's our Constitution. It is our Declaration of Independence that matters. Nothing else does. The three-cornered hat isn't for you. The Tea Party that's us. We'll keep that if we have to. You find your own touchstones. Discover your own history. Everything you need, you have. You'll find it where you live. Your history will point to freedom. You just have to look. It's been there. Your ideas will win the day, but there are no shortcuts. And know this: hard work lies ahead, because every man has been endowed by their Creator, and that includes you and your neighbor. If you don't do the hard work, the results won't last. We're seeing that today in America. We sometimes take for granted the freedoms that we enjoy, and those who want to take those freedoms away, they count on us to relax our guard, take our shortcut. Just post a few videos on Facebook and let it go at that. But winning freedom took blood, and keeping freedom takes commitment and intelligence and hard work. Freedom is like the heart. It's a muscle, and if you don't exercise it, if you don't push it to the limit every so often, it gets weak and it doesn't work well, and eventually it just gives out. Benjamin Franklin is one of my favorite founders. The whole world knew who Benjamin Franklin was. He was probably the most important scientist of his day. When he walked out of our constitutional convention, someone said to him, "Well, doctor, what have we got, a republic or a monarchy?" And Franklin said, "A republic, if you can keep it." So my message to my friends from foreign lands who are coming here to Dallas is the same as my message to Americans who are coming here or just going to watch it at home. Securing freedom is the work of every man and every generation. And if you do the hard work, the results will last. And the freedom you win will belong to you and your countrymen forever.